Have you ever been in a situation where every door seemed closed? When your resources were depleted, your strength was gone, and all you could see were obstacles. If you're nodding your head, I want to tell you this. God specializes in making a way where there seems to be no way. You might feel stuck, defeated, or hopeless right now. But let me assure you, with God, your story isn't over. Today, we're diving into how trusting God can lead us through impossible circumstances. So, grab your faith and let's journey together. The first thing you need to remember is this: God is sovereign. What does that mean? It means He's in control over your situation, over the timing, over the outcome. Isaiah 55, 8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." Sometimes what looks like a dead end to us is just a detour for God. Think about the Israelites standing at the Red Sea. They had Pharaoh's army behind them and an impassable sea ahead. To human eyes, it was impossible. But to God, it was an opportunity to demonstrate His power. He parted the waters and made a way. So, don't underestimate what God can do in your life. What's impossible for you is always possible for Him. Now let's talk about faith. Faith isn't about ignoring the reality of your challenges. It's about believing in the greater reality of God's promises. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith is what pushes us to keep moving forward, even when we can't see the outcome. Remember the widow in 2 Kings 4? She had nothing but a small jar of oil. But when she trusted the prophet Elisha's word and started pouring, the oil didn't stop until every jar was filled. The lesson here is clear. God multiplies what we surrender to Him in faith. Don't let fear or doubt stop you. Trust God enough to take the first step, even if the entire staircase isn't visible yet. Here's the part we often struggle with: God's timing. Let's be honest, it's hard to wait. But Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, He has made everything beautiful in its time. Think about Joseph. He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned. For 13 years, it seemed like his dreams were shattered. But when the time was right, God elevated him to be second in command over Egypt. Delays are not denials. Sometimes God is preparing us during the waiting season. He's strengthening your character, increasing your faith, and aligning circumstances for His glory. Trust His timing. It's never early, and it's never late. If you take one thing from today, let it be this: God is a way maker. He turns graves into gardens, deserts into streams, and hopeless situations into testimonies. Whatever you're facing today, surrender it to Him. Speak life over your situation, declaring, "My God will make a way." Romans 8:28 reminds us. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Right now, I want to challenge you. Instead of focusing on what you lack or what's against you, focus on who God is. Pray, trust, and then take action in faith. God is faithful, and He will see you through. While you're trusting God to make a way, don't forget the power of praise. Praise is a declaration of faith. It's saying, "God, I believe you're working even when I can't see it." Think of Paul and Silas in prison. They were beaten, chained, and locked in the innermost cell. Yet, instead of despairing, they began to pray and sing hymns to God. And what happened? The prison doors flew open and their chains fell off. Praise isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing to glorify God in the middle of the storm because you know the one who controls it. Your praise can shake the foundations of your circumstances and open doors you never imagined. Sometimes we get so focused on the problem that we miss the provision God is already sending. Remember Elijah during the drought? God sent ravens to bring him food and directed him to a widow who would sustain him. God's resources are limitless, and His methods are beyond our comprehension. Whatever you need, strength, peace, finances, healing, know that God has already set things in motion. Your provision might not look the way you expect, but it will always be exactly what you need. Trust His methods as much as you trust His promises. To the person who feels like giving up, I see you. More importantly, God sees you. Galatians 6:9 encourages us. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Your breakthrough might be closer than you think. The enemy wants you to quit before you see God's miracle. But remember, God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. Lean on Him, cry out to Him, and let Him carry you when you feel like you can't take another step. While we're waiting for God to make a way, it's easy to focus on the destination and miss the lessons in the process. But let me remind you, the journey is just as important as the destination. God is not only interested in delivering you from your situation, He's also shaping you into the person He's called you to be. Think about David. Before he became king, he spent years in the wilderness tending sheep and fleeing from Saul. Those years taught him courage, dependence on God, and leadership. Whatever you're going through right now is preparing you for the next season. Trust the process, because God is working on you even when it feels like nothing is happening. If you want to see God do the impossible, it's time to pray bold prayers. Too often, we limit our prayers to what seems reasonable or achievable in our own strength. But Ephesians 3:20 reminds us that God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. Don't be afraid to ask God for big things. Pray with the expectation that He hears you and has the power to answer. Remember Joshua, who prayed for the sun to stand still, and it did. God honors faith-filled prayers that align with His will. Your bold prayers could be the very thing that opens the door to your breakthrough. When God makes a way, it will come with peace. His way is not chaotic or filled with confusion. Philippians 4:7 promises that the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. When the way forward is from God, you'll sense His peace even in the midst of challenges. It doesn't mean the journey will be without struggles, but it does mean you'll have a deep, unshakable confidence that He is leading hope to those who feel hopeless. Revelation 12:11 says, they triumphed over Him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Your journey, your perseverance, your faith, it all has a purpose. So, keep pressing on, knowing that God is not just making a way for you. He's using your life to show others the way to Him. Stay encouraged, and remember, your victory is already written in God's plan. Keep trusting, stay blessed, and remember, God is making a way for you.